in Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Hello students, welcome to the class of Business Studies. In the previous session, we spoke about the staffing. I told you the concept of staffing. I also told you the significance, that is the importance of staffing. We also spoke on the staffing as a part of the human resource department, the process of doing the staffing, the different steps which are involved in the staffing process and the aspect of staffing. And if I am not wrong, I have started with the first aspect of staffing, that is the recruitment and the internal sources of recruitment. There are different sources of recruitment. The basic classification of the recruitment is the internal source and the external source. I have already said that the staffing means finding the right person for the right job with the right qualification at the right time. And this is very important for the management. If you want the efficiency, if you want effectiveness in the management, then the right person should be always appointed for the right job with the right qualification and at the right time. If you don't appoint the right person, if you don't select the right person with the right qualification and the right expertise, you cannot expect the right results from that person. And because of that, it is must you study, you find out what are the potentials of a particular person before selecting that candidate. What is the interest of that particular person before selecting that candidate? What is the intelligence of that particular person, whether that person will be able to take intelligent decisions, whether he is capable of taking the good decisions or not. And then only you select, and that will be called as identifying or finding the right person for the right job. And if you do that, if you do staffing properly, you will very easily able to achieve the goals of the management. You will able to achieve the objectives of the management within the time given to you. And that speaks about the efficiency and the effectiveness of the management. Today we will be talking about the second part of the recruitment, second sources of the recruitment, that is the external sources of recruitment. I have told you the internal sources of recruitment, that is a promotion, which means the vertical shifting of an employee from lower position to the higher position, which is called as promotion, which is the internal source of recruitment. I have also told you horizontal shifting of an employee from one department to another department, or from one shift to another shift, or from one division to another division without change in the pay package of the employee, without change in the status, without change in the authority of the employee, which is called as transfer. And today we'll move on to the external sources of recruitment. External sources means search for the prospective candidates externally by going outside the organization. Search is by going outside the jurisdiction of the enterprise, and that is called as a external source of recruitment. Now, there are many sources of recruitment which has been done by the business enterprises by making an appeal to the people who are outside the business enterprises, who are stimulating the people who are outside the business enterprises to apply for the jobs. And that is called as an external source of recruitment. So let's talk the first about the direct recruitment. Here it speaks about the direct recruitment. Direct recruitment means the external source in which notice is placed on the notice board of the enterprise or on the gate of the enterprise about the requirement of the job. The prospective candidates will assemble outside the gate the interview will be held and the selection will be done on the spot. In this case, in case of the direct recruitment, employees are being selected for a temporary period during the peak period when business organizations are in need of extra employees, and they are called as a badli workers or they are called as a casual workers. They are never permanent employees of the organization. In this case, a notice will be put on the notice board of the business enterprise for employing the temporary workers, for employing badli workers or the casual workers. And mostly this type of the recruitment is done for unskilled workers. Workers who does not have the skill, maybe for the purpose of packing, for the purpose of loading or unloading, for a temporary period where employees does not require a specific skill, and that is called as a direct recruitment, where selection is done on the spot. And this type of the workers are paid wages on the basis of the daily wage system. Daily wage system, which means if you don't work on a particular day, for that day you will not get the wage. So you will be paid only for the number of days on which days you are working in the company or you are at the workplace and performing the job. So that is called as a direct recruitment. The second is called as a casual callers. From the name itself, it indicates that calling somebody casually. So in this case, in this source of recruitment, the employees, the prospective candidates whose applications are pending with the company, the data of such candidates has been maintained by the company. The employees, the potential candidates who are very efficient and who can be an asset to the organization, company find out about such type of the candidates from the market, mostly in case of the sales field, as a sales representative or the salesman who are very efficient in the sales, who can very easily convince the customers to increase the sales. So such type of the employees data is been maintained by the company. Or sometimes some applications which they have already received, the data of such pending applications is been maintained by the company, and whenever there is a vacancy, whenever there are the vacant positions in the organization, such prospective candidates are given call and they are called by the company to fill up the vacancies. So here employees does not apply for the jobs. Maybe they have applied it earlier, but now when there is a vacancy available, that time employees or the prospective candidates are not applying for the jobs, but it is the company, it is an enterprise, or it is the management who keep the data or who collect the data of such efficient and result oriented employees who can be an asset to the organization, and company call them, company give them a phone call and they ask them to come and join their company by giving a good pay package. This is called as a casual callers, where company call the employees. Company give a phone call to the employees and ask them to come and join the company, who can be an efficient people, who are the result oriented people and who can be proved as a good employees for an organization. The third is an advertisement. This advertisement talks about the print advertisement, which means advertisement on the newspapers, trade journals, professional journals, which gives the information, the requirement of the employees. When the wide choice is required for an organization, in that case, advertisements are given in the daily newspapers. Advertisements are given in the trade journals or in the professional journals. And when the organization requires a talented, experienced, and to fill up the higher positions, in that case, advertisement is used as a source of recruitment. When company wants to fill up some higher positions, maybe the manager post or the senior manager post or the officer's post, in that case, advertisements are given in the print media, through which people will apply for the jobs, proper scrutiny of the applications will be done, and after the proper interviews, the candidates will be selected. So this is called as an advertisement. Then there comes the employment exchange. Employment exchange is a government agency. Like we have a Goa Government Employment Exchange, which is owned, controlled and managed by the government. This is owned, controlled and managed by the government, where there is a total control of the government, and it acts as a link between the government departments and the prospective candidates, the potential candidates. So whenever there is a vacancy available in the government department, it is compulsory, or it has to be compulsorily make the notifications of the vacancies from the government departments as per the law. No government department can select any of the candidates without making the notifications of the government vacancies. So every person, whoever wants to get employed in the government department, has to be registered with the Government Employment Exchange. So this is another recruitment agency which helps to link between potential candidates and the government departments, another source of recruitment. Then comes the campus recruitment. Campus recruitment is another most popular source of external recruitment. In this case, recruitment is directly done from the universities, professional colleges, or from the MBA colleges, like the law colleges, like the engineering colleges, where company directly keep a contact with the university or the professional college, where company will directly approach the university, go to the campus of the university or the college, and there they conduct the interview of the candidates, sometimes even before passing the final examination. In this case, there are many software companies which go to the campus of the computer engineering colleges. Sometimes even before completion of the course, they conduct the interview of the candidates, and whoever is qualified, they are given the offer letter, and they have to join the company immediately after clearing the examination. This has become very popular for the professional, in the professional colleges, for specialized jobs. So you don't have to go in search of the jobs, but the companies come to your campus, come to the campus of the college to search for the prospective candidates. And if you are good enough, even before you answer your exams, even before you get your results, you are already having the offer of appointment in your hand. This is called as a campus recruitment. Then comes the labor contractors. Labor contractors are another source of external recruitment, in which contractors of the laborers are in direct contact with the skilled and the unskilled laborers, and they can provide number of skilled and unskilled laborers to the company in short notice for a short period of time. Maybe if the company during the peak period, say for example, if there is a ice cream factory, mostly the demand for the ice cream is only in the summer season, where there is a more demand for this product, more demand for the ice cream, and there is need of a more production. So during this particular period, ice cream factories required some skilled and unskilled laborers for the purpose of packing, or for the purpose of loading or unloading, or maybe for the purpose of distributing their ice cream to the different outlets. They require for maybe 5 to 6 months employees for a short period of time. So these companies approach labor contractors. Labor contractors, in a very short notice, they can give them any number of employees, workers, for a short period of time. And here there is a contract between the company and the labor contractor. Company has nothing to do with the laborers. Company make a contract with the labor contractors, and labor contractor can make the payment or pay the wages to the workers. So there is nothing to do with the company, and the laborers has no contract. Company make a contract with the labor contractor for everyday supply of maybe 200 laborers. Company make the payment to the labor contractor and labor contractor make the payment to the workers. So this is another source of recruitment where company does not have to take any headache. Company does not have to go for a direct recruitment. Company does not have to directly approach the workers to come and join the company. But company approaches the labor contractor. Labor contractor supply them the required number of workers for a number of months or the number of days they require. This is called as a labor contractor. Then comes the advertisement on television, another source of external recruitment. Advertisement on television. Advertisement on television is also becoming very, very popular nowadays because advertisement on television is moving. It is a combination of sight, sound and motion. It is a combination of sight, sound and motion. And the advertisements are telecasted. Advertisements are telecasted at the different times so that the prospective candidates are aware about the different vacancies, different types of the jobs available in the different organizations. But it is more impressive because there is a combination of sight. You can see this particular advertisement. There is a sound also. You can announce about the advertisement. And there is also motion, moving. Sometimes it is moving. Advertisements are made on motion. So it becomes more impressive, more appealing to the prospective candidates, and at the same time it can reach to the masses in a very short period of time. So this is another external source of recruitment which has been used for recruiting, searching the qualified and the required potential candidates. Next comes is a web publishing, another source which is most popular nowadays, which has been used by most of the companies nowadays, is internet. There are many websites designed by the different companies, or even website designed as a recruitment websites to search for the qualified and the potential candidates, because today youth is well versed with the internet. Youth is aware about the different sites, youth is aware about the different websites, and it has become one of the most popular source of recruitment nowadays. We can take an example of these websites where recruitment is done, where search of the qualified, where search of the potential candidates is being done worldwide. It is not restricted to a particular state sometimes. It is not restricted only to a particular area, but it is been seen worldwide, and this is one of the most popular, latest, most modern source of recruitment nowadays. You take an example of Naukri.com. You take an example of the Monster.com. These are some of the examples of these websites which helps you to know about the different vacancies worldwide in order to apply. Also applications also could be sent online, and the recruitment interviews sometime it is also possible online. So this is another method of recruitment, another the source of recruitment, external source of recruitment. So these are some of the sources of recruitment internally, where search is done within the organization. External sources where search is done by going outside the organization. Search is done by going outside the organization. Now let's move on to the second. The second aspect of staffing is selection. Once you do the recruitment, once you have searched the qualified people, once you have searched the prospective candidates, the right type of the candidates, you have appealed them to apply for the jobs, you have motivated them to apply for the job, and the applications are received by the business enterprise, the applications are received by the employer. Then comes the scrutiny of the application, analysis of the applications, accepting the applications, all those applications which are complete by giving the full information, which matches the requirements of the organization, where all the details are mentioned. Those applications will be accepted, and the rest of the applications which are not complete, which does not matches the requirements of the organization will be rejected by the business enterprise. Then comes the second step or the second important aspect of the staffing, the second most important aspect of the staffing, which is called as selection. So after the recruitment, after accepting the applications, after scrutiny of the applications, then comes the process of selection. Now the selection means identifying and choosing the best candidate out of the number of prospective candidates available with you. Now, as I said earlier, you might have 2 vacancies available with you. You might get 100 applications. Now, after the scrutiny, you have accepted maybe 30 applications. Posts are only 2. Vacancies are only 2. You have to select only 2 candidates out of these 30 applications, 30 prospective candidates to whose applications you have selected. Now comes the process. Now comes how to select the best out of the 30 which are available with you. And the effectiveness of the selection procedure, effectiveness of the selection will be done on the terms of on-the-job performance of the employee. Many times you feel that you have followed the best of the procedure. You have done the best to select the best of the candidate. But how you will know the effectiveness of your process? The effectiveness of the process that you have followed? Only when the employee will join the company and employee will start working, then only you will come to know whether your decision is right or your decision is not right. So effectiveness of your process will be known only on the terms of on-the-job performance of the employee, which means when the employee is performing the job, then only you will come to know your decision is right or wrong. So let's talk about this selection and the process of selection. Process of selection. The first step in the selection process is preliminary screening, which means you got the applications, you have received the applications. Now you have to do the screening of the applications. I have told you that for 2 posts, you have received 100 applications. You will not going to interview all 100 candidates. You may interview very few of them which are most suitable for your job. Now what you will do? You will do the scrutiny of the applications. You will accept those applications which are correct, which are complete, and which are matching to your requirements. And you will reject all those applications which are not matching to your requirements. Maybe out of the 100, what you require, what you accepted is only 30, and 70 out of 100 you have rejected. Now the process starts. This is the first step in the selection process, preliminary screening. Once you have done the preliminary screening, then comes the test, the selection test, which is again very important to select the candidates. Selection test means a paper and pencil test which has been conducted in order to find out some of the qualities, some of the characteristics of the potential candidate. All those 30 people whose applications you are accepted, you want to know some characteristics of those people. You want to know the qualities of those people. You want to know the potential of those people, and that's why paper pencil test has been conducted to know the characteristics of the potential candidates, and that is called as a selection test. There are many selection tests which has to be conducted. This paper pencil test, there are many selection tests which you have to conduct. Like first is a intelligence test. Intelligence test is conducted. Intelligence test is a psychological test which measures the intelligence level of an individual, the intelligence quotient of an individual, IQ of an individual, and that is called as a intelligence test. It helps to know and find out the learning capacity of a particular person, whether after appointing this particular person, if any new thing comes, or any new things are told to this person, whether he is ready to learn, whether he has that intelligence to learn the new things, whether he has a capacity of taking the decisions. What is the intelligence level of this particular person? What is the intelligence quotient of this particular person? That will be measured with the help of the intelligence test, which is the first test conducted in the selection procedure. Then comes the personality test. Personality talks about the overall personality of an individual. Now, when it comes to the personality, many times we get confused. Personality means the tall, good looks, good haircut, grooming posture, all that. But unfortunately, personality speaks about your emotions. Personality speaks about your feelings. Personality speaks about your reactions to the particular issues. Personality speaks about your maturity in handling certain problems. Personality speaks about the values of an individual. This is the personality of a particular person. Good look and good height not always is a personality of the person. It can be something addition to this. But personality is about the emotions, feelings, your reactions, your maturity in handling the issues, your values as a human being. All this talks about your personality. Say for example, if you are appointed in an organization, and say for example, there is an accident at the workplace, there is somebody another machine operator operating a machine, suddenly by mistake his hand has entered the machine and the hand is cut. And this person is busy doing his work, not even looking at that particular employee. That talks about your personality. That talks about your reactions to these particular issues, your maturity in handling the job. You are saying, no, I'm working, I'm with my machine. Why should I look at that place? No, why should I look at that particular person? I'm doing my job. I'm not supposed to say that. That talks about your personality. If say for example, you are traveling and you see an accident, a person is lying down on the road with blood and you are not even bothered to look at it, that talks about your personality. That talks about your feelings and your emotions. So this is very important. In organizations also, in the business enterprises also, there are some decisions has to be taken depending upon the situations. That will going to help you to be a good employee. So this will be measured by the personality test. The next thing that we will going to test is a aptitude test. Aptitude test talks about your aptitude in learning new skills, your aptitude in learning new methodologies. This is very, very important. Your potential in learning the new methodology. There are some people who always wants to remain outdated. They don't want to learn new things. They want to go for the new methods or the new technology. They say, whatever I'm doing for so many years, I'm happy with that. Why should I want something more? Why should I want to learn something new? There are some people, that is the psychology of some people, who doesn't want to learn. So this talks about, aptitude test talks about, it measures your potential of learning new skills. It talks about measuring the potential of an individual of learning new methodology, how much that person is eager for the growth and development. This is very important. There are some people does not want to take risk in their life, does not want to learn anything new, does not want to know anything new. They are happy with the old outdated things. These people never grow, these people never develop in their life. So that's why it is necessary to measure the potential of such people. It is necessary to know the aptitude of such people. Whether this person is ready to learn, this person is ready to know new things, this person is ready to handle new methodologies or not. This is very, very important for a business enterprise if there should be growth of the enterprise and also of an employee. If there should be a development of the enterprise and also of an employee. And that's why this type of the test should be conducted before employing a particular person. Next talks about the trade test. Trade test talks about the existing skills of an employee. The knowledge of an employee, whether the technical knowledge, whether the theoretical knowledge, how much of knowledge a particular person has about a particular profession or a particular job. If you are appointing somebody as a salesman, you have to find out about that particular person, how much of knowledge you have about the sales, how much of knowledge you have about the competition in the market, how to approach the people. If you are appointing somebody as a salesman in a showroom, in the the car showroom, the first thing, that person should obtain the knowledge about that car. There might be some customers who will find out, who wants to know about the car, different parts of the car, different features of the car, the technology of the car, the software of the car. And you are saying, no, I don't know, I just joined, I have no idea about this particular product. Then you are not fit to be in that particular post. So because of that, company should find out how much of knowledge this person has about this particular job, about this particular trade, whether he has found out, whether he has learned, whether he has the knowledge of the technology or not. And then you should decide whether you should go for this particular candidate or not. The next thing comes is an interest test, very much important. Interest of doing that particular job, fascination of that particular job than the other jobs. Your involvement in doing that particular job, your interest in doing that particular job is again very important in an organization. If say for example you are employed as a music teacher and you are not at all interested, you don't have any interest, then what is going to happen? You will never teach any music to anybody. Your interest is something else. You are forced to be the music teacher and you are just doing it. Because there should be fascination of that particular job. You should be happy doing that particular, you should have an interest of doing that particular job. There should be your involvement in a particular job. Say for example, a boy who likes to play football. If you ask that boy to play football or to go for a football match, that person will be ready, or that ball will be ready even at the midnight to go and play football on the football ground. But if you ask that boy to go and get something from the market, which he does not like to do, which is not his interest, he will not even try to do that for 5 minutes. That speaks about the interest. That speaks about the fascination of the person. Because before employing somebody, before selecting somebody, you should find out whether this person likes to do that particular job or not, whether he has an interest of doing this particular job or not. This is very, very important. And when you conduct all these tests, when the prospective candidate answer all these tests and they qualify in this test, then comes the next thing, which is called as an employment interview. All the selection tests, there are 5 selection tests, starts from the intelligence test, then the aptitude test, interest test, then the trade test. All these tests, the 5 tests, once you qualify all these 5 tests, then only you will be called for an employment interview. Now, employment interview means an oral conversation between the panel of interviewers. The panel of interviewers will be sitting across the table, and the candidate who has qualified in all these selection tests will be asked to answer some of the oral questions, which is called as a formal interview, or it is called as an employment interview. So this employment interview will be conducted only when you qualify in the written test, only when you qualify in this paper and pencil test. And here the panel of interviewers will ask many questions related to the job, related to the general knowledge, related to public affairs or anything else, to test the knowledge of this particular person. That will be the next step in the process of selection. Then comes reference and background. This is another important step in the selection process. Once you answer your formal interview, that is the employment interview, you are qualified there also, then the panel of interviewers will always check the background and the reference of this selected candidate. Always company asks for the addresses and the phone numbers of the references in order to check the background and verify the information provided by this applicant, by this prospective candidate. And mostly the references are the previous employer, the professors of this candidate or the lecturers of the candidate. These are mostly considered as the references in order to get extra information, in order to know the background, in order to verify the information provided by this particular candidate. There is a need of a background and reference. So the reference and background is very much important in order to know and verify the information provided by this prospective candidates. And it is always the previous employer, the professors of the prospective candidate, or maybe the lecturers of the prospective candidates provide the correct information, and you can get the reliable information about the prospective candidates, which helps the panel of the interviewers to take the correct decision and selecting the right candidate from the number of prospective candidates. Then comes the selection. Selection is the decision making point where you choose the best candidate out of the number of prospective candidates. Now in the selection process, you have conducted the different written tests, paper and pencil test. The candidates have qualified there. Then there was a formal interview. Then comes about the checking the background and the reference check of the employee. There also they got the favorable information, and now the company, the panel of interviewers will decide to select, to choose the best candidate out of the number of candidates who have qualified till now. And there comes taking the decision. The person who is best, the person who has qualified all these tests, the person who is even have the good background and the good reference will be selected as a candidate who will be appointed in an organization, and that decision is called as a selection. That point of taking the decision of selecting one from the number of candidates available with you is called as selection. After the selection, now the panel of interviewers have decided to select maybe 2 out of 30 to be the employees of the organization. Then once they are selected, then comes the medical examination, because the offer of appointment or the job offer cannot be given unless and until the medical test or the medical examination of the selected candidate is done. It has to be proved that this particular candidate who has been selected is mentally and physically fit for this particular job. This is again very, very important. You might have all the qualities with you, but you are not physically fit. If you are working as a machine operator and you are a handicapped person, and the doctor says that this particular person will not able to do this particular job because there are many times you have to lift some heavy tools or heavy things, and this person will not able to do. And the medical examiner or the doctor who is from the panel of the company, he says, he gives a certificate saying that he is unfit to do this particular job, then the panel of interviewers will have to change their decision and select another person who is most fit for this particular job. So it is necessary that the selected candidate should be mentally and physically fit for this particular job, and then only you will get a job offer. This job offer means an offer given by the company to the prospective candidate, to an employee who has been selected, and which should be accepted by the employee, that prospective candidate Offer is given like we are happy with you and we are ready to appoint you as an employee of this particular company, as an accountant or as a machine operator or as an automobile engineer. Offer is given which has to be accepted by the employee. If the employee does not accept it, then this job offer is null and void. It does not have any sense. So it has to be accepted by the employee. If the employee accepts this job offer, then next comes is a contract of employment. Next comes is a contract of employment. Contract of employment is been signed by the employer, by the company and the employee, wherein you have to mention the contents of the job, you have to mention the date of commencement of the job, you have to mention the number of leaves, you have to mention the allowances, you have to mention the terms and conditions for termination of the job, and all that has to be mentioned in this contract, and both the parties, that is the employer, the head of the company and the employee, has to sign this contract, which is called as a contract of appointment. Only after signing the contract of appointment, which happens after accepting of the job offer by the candidate, then this particular person becomes the actual employee of an organization. So once the contract of employment has been signed, then comes the third. The employee becomes the employee. The employee is the permanent employee, or maybe appointed on the probation, and he can be then he is declared as a selected employee of that organization. Then, so once that happens, employee is appointed, employee is selected, the contract of employment is signed. Now comes the training and development. Now you require training to this particular person. Directly this person cannot go and start working. He should be trained, he should be equipped with the required skills required to perform this particular job. If he has been appointed as a machinist, then he requires training before joining the job. He required to be given some information, some knowledge before joining this particular job. That's why training is required before joining the job, and sometimes also in-service trainings are required from time to time in order to update the knowledge, in order to make the employee aware about the latest and the new things which is coming into the market, and also the development courses, development programs like refresher courses, seminars, workshops. This also is required to update the employee with the latest, new and the modern things which are coming into the market. Now when we are talking about the training and development, which is the third important aspect of staffing, why training and development? Employee is selected after going through a long procedure. Now why you need to train this employee? Why you need to have these development programs throughout the lifetime of this person? There is the significance for this. It is important. It has been proved that training and development programs are must for an employee. When an employee is there, filled in an organization, this type of the courses are must for an employee to rise higher, to update and to improve the productivity and the efficiency of an employer. So we will now talk about the importance, significance of the training and development. Importance or the significance of the training and development. First talks about the better performance. It talks about the better performance. If we talk about the trained and the untrained employee, an employee who is given the training, an employee who is not given the training, we can compare both these employees. A trained employee will always perform better than that of the untrained employee, because this trained employee has been trained for everything. He is trained to handle the machines. He is trained to face sometimes some different situations. He has been trained to handle the different situations, which an untrained employee is not trained to do all these things. And that's why a trained employee is always better. The performance of the trained employee is always better than that of the untrained employee, because the psychology of the trained employee The mindset of the trained employee, the attitude of the trained employee is different from that of the untrained employee. Trained employee always has a positive attitude. The mindset of the trained employee, he is always ready to accept the changes, which an untrained employee many times hesitate to do that. And that's why performance is always better of the trained employee than that of the untrained employee. Second thing is reduces learning time. A person who is given training, a person who has been equipped with the required skills to perform the job, then a person who is not equipped with the required skills to perform a job. Naturally, such person who does not have the knowledge of doing a particular job, a person who is not trained to do a particular job, maybe he is qualified, but training is not given. The person who is trained will always take less time in learning the new things, new methodologies, new skills, new techniques than a person who is untrained, who does not got the training or who has no training in his career. So always a trained person takes less time in learning new things, new methodologies. So this is another importance, another significance of the training and development. Next comes is the attitude formation. The training always helps to mold the attitude of the employee, always helps to mold the characteristics of the employee. Trained employee always develops positive attitude towards the different things. Trained employee is always ready to accept any changes that comes to him. And that's why trained employee has a positive attitude, a better attitude towards the job and towards an enterprise, which always helps an enterprise and also the employee to grow higher in the life. This is very important. Training always gives you the confidence. Training always changes your mindset, positive attitude. You are ready to do any type of the job. You are ready to accept any type of the changes. This happens because of the training. And that's why training is very, very useful for the employees to develop attitude, positive attitude in their life. And that always helps for the growth and development of the employees. Next comes helps in solving operational problems. When it comes to the business enterprise or a business organizations or where there are group of people working together, there are many operational problems like lack of better working conditions are not good, lack of teamwork, lack of understanding the problems and the grievances of the employees. There can be many problems at the working place, many problems at the working place. Maybe the machineries are not in a working condition, there are old machineries. So in this case, a trained person who has got the training, he takes it positively. He handles all these operational problems positively and can provide the necessary solutions instead of going for agitations, instead of going for having a problem with the management. A trained person always find out the necessary solutions for the operational problems. So this is because of the training and development. If you don't have a training and development, you will not able to handle such situations easily. You will not have a positive attitude towards such issues. And it is a training and development which helps to solve the operational problems. Next comes reduction in supervision. A trained person, a trained employee did not require a supervision because he has already developed that positive attitude towards him, towards the job and towards an enterprise. He does not require somebody to come and oversee him. But it does not require that somebody should come and supervise. Without the supervisors, these employees can work because they have a positive attitude toward the job and the enterprise. They want their enterprise should grow. They want that they should rise higher in their life. And because of that, they are ready to work hard. They are ready to take the initiative. They are ready to not take the initiative to solve the problems in an organization. It is because of the training and development. There is no need of supervision for the trained employees. But the untrained employees, many times, they are not ready to work without the supervisors. They are not ready to work without being told to them to work. So this can happen with the untrained employees. Improved quality of products. A trained person who has been given training, who's been told the pros and cons of a particular job, who's been taught how to do a particular job, who's been trained how to handle the different situations in the different times, such person can always produce the good quality of the product. Which means if the quality of the products is coming down or the quality of the product is been reducing, these people can take the right decisions at the right time to improve the quality of the product, because they are the people who are aware about the quality, how to maintain the quality, how to improve the quality, because they are trained to do all these things. They are trained to handle any of this type of the situations. It is because of the trained people you can easily improve and maintain the quality of a product in order to maintain the goodwill and the reputation of your enterprise in the market. This is another importance of the training and development. Finally, ensuring working satisfaction. Another important thing that has been seen in the trained employees is job satisfaction, working satisfaction, because a trained person is always satisfied doing a particular job because he's trained for it. He's trained for improving the efficiency. He's trained, and because he has taken the training, he likes doing that particular job. He's satisfied doing that particular job. And training and development provides the job satisfaction. Because if you are not satisfied with a particular job, you don't try to put in your heart and soul. You don't try to do that work with happiness. But when you like to do a particular job, when you get a training for a particular job, you have heard many development courses, and you have developed that liking for your job, that helps always for a job satisfaction. So the training and development is very, very important in an organization. Training and development helps to improve the productivity, helps to improve the efficiency of the organization. And it is because of the staffing you can get the best of the results in the organization. The product, the output is the best because of the staffing and because of three important aspects of staffing, that is recruitment, selection, and training and development. So I have completed this chapter of staffing right from the beginning till now. I have done this chapter with 2 sessions. We have done in this session, we spoke about the external sources of the recruitment. I told you about the selection, the process of selection, and in the process of selection, the different tests that need to be conducted in order to measure the different characteristics of the prospective candidates. And before a candidate is been selected for a particular job, what different tests are required for a particular candidate, and in order to select the best of the candidate. And the most important is training before an employee is joining a job, which could be called as a in-job training, and also off-job training, and also the development courses, which are very important for an employee to keep updated, for an employee to keep knowledgeable, for an employee to keep informative, and to learn new and more things, to be updated and to remain in the competition. So I have completed this chapter of staffing. Thank you for listening to my sessions of staffing, and enjoy studying. Thank you.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.